Is China quietly taking another slice of Arunachal Pradesh? A tribal body in Arunachal says the PLA has occupied ancestral grazing land, built roads, and even military camps over the past 6 years. The Indian Army says there has been no intrusion. Union Minister Kiren Rijiju says there has been no intrusion either. But he adds something important. There have been transgressions because the border is not demarcated. Has China entered Indian territory or not? Why is Delhi using the word transgression instead of intrusion? And what does this reveal about one of the world's most complicated and dangerous borders? This is not just a story about maps. It is a story about how China slowly changes realities on the ground. One patrol, one road, and one temporary camp at a time. The latest controversy began in Arunachal Pradesh's Upper Subansiri district. The Na Welfare Society, representing members of the Na tribe, has alleged that the People's Liberation Army has gradually occupied parts of its ancestral grazing, hunting, and farming land over the past 6 years. According to the organization, the Chinese side has built roads, military camps, and other infrastructure in areas that local communities have traditionally used for generations. The group has demanded an official verification by the government. This is not coming from a politician. This is not an opposition party looking for headlines. This is a tribal community saying on record that the pace and scale of PLA activities in their region are alarming. That despite the Indian Army's efforts, the community fears it is gradually losing its ancestral land. The organization has identified 5 specific locations it says are now under Chinese occupation: Oing in the Asafela area, Paniar in Sizartha Marpan, Pothrangling, and Tintingtan. It claims that roads, bridges, and military camps have come up in these areas over the past 5 years. According to the memorandum, these places are not only vital for grazing, hunting, and collecting forest produce. Some are regarded as pilgrimage sites. They hold cultural and spiritual meaning for the community. And yet, neither the Upper Subansiri district administration nor the Arunachal Pradesh government had issued an official statement in response at the time of reporting. Senior district officials were unavailable for comment. There has been no independent verification of the locations or the infrastructure, no response from the Indian Army, no response from the Ministry of External Affairs. Here is where the story gets more complicated and more important. When incidents like these surface, India almost never calls them intrusions. The official language is always transgression. That word choice is deliberate. And the distinction is not just semantic, it is strategic. A transgression is defined as when a military body of troops crosses into what it believes is its own territory based on a different perception of where the border actually lies. An intrusion, by contrast, is the deliberate movement of forces into another nation's territory. India and China have fundamentally different perceptions of the line of actual control. And because there is no commonly agreed and demarcated LAC, India's position has consistently been that there is no intrusion, only a transgression. Because both sides are simply patrolling up to their own perceived version of the boundary. The Indian government has preferred to call these incidents transgressions since at least 2010. The political utility is clear. Calling something a transgression avoids the diplomatic escalation that would come with formally declaring an intrusion into Indian territory. But here is the uncomfortable question. When the PLA builds roads, camps, and bridges in a location and stays, is that still just a transgression? Because a transgression, by definition, is temporary. What is happening in Taksin does not sound temporary at all. The timing of this situation could not be more awkward. Just last August, Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited China, his first trip in 7 years, and met President Xi Jinping on the sidelines of the SCO summit in Tianjin. The two leaders declared they are partners, not rivals. This was the first time the two leaders met since the Galwan clash in Ladakh. Both governments pledged to restart border talks, resume visas, and restore direct flights. High-level visits resumed, agreements were signed. It was described as a genuine thaw after years of deep freeze. But thaws can be deceptive. Even as diplomats were talking, China released a new list of standardized names of more than 20 locations inside Arunachal Pradesh. India sharply rejected the claims, reaffirming that Arunachal Pradesh is an integral and inalienable part of India. And on the ground, China has continued its dual-use infrastructure strategy, building structures that look civilian but dramatically boost its capacity to deploy forces quickly and consolidate control over contested territory. The handshake in Tianjin was real, but so are the roads in Takse. China does not take territory the way armies did in the last century. It does not launch an offensive, it does not fire a first shot. It is the Doklam playbook, creeping salami-slicing tactics, incrementally, quietly, one road at a time, one camp at a time, until the facts on the ground have shifted permanently. After the 2020 Galwan clashes, a military analysis showed that buffer zones created during disengagement were entirely on territory claimed and previously patrolled by India. China could continue patrolling up to where it previously did. India could not. That is how territory is losing without a single shot being fired. And that is precisely the pattern the Na community in Takse is now describing. India is building roads, laying tunnels, strengthening its military posture. The message from New Delhi is clear. Dialogue will continue, but deterrence will not be diluted. But infrastructure takes time. And on the ground in Upper Subansiri, a community is filing memorandums and waiting for a response that has not come. The real test of India's Arunachal policy is not what gets said at summits. It is what happens or does not happen at Oing, Paniar, Pothrangling and Tindingstang. India calls it a transgression, China calls it South Tibet. The Na community just calls it home. And right now, they say they are being pushed out of it, and in border disputes, perception has a habit of becoming reality if it goes unchallenged.
If they had a nuclear weapon,
The old rules are breaking. Alliances are shifting.
Apologize again to the victims of the paedophile Jeffrey Epstein.
Wars are redrawing maps. Oil routes can shake economies overnight. One election in America can impact markets in Mumbai.
no tax on tips.
One move by China can alter the balance in Asia. One conflict in West Asia can hit every Indian household. This is no longer a distant story. This is our story. Your story. Because for the first time in decades, India is not watching from the sidelines. India is rising. India is negotiating. India is balancing rivals. India is building military strength. India is shaping trade routes. India is becoming central to the new global order. And yet, most global news is still told through someone else's lens. Washington's lens, Beijing's lens, London's lens. But where is India's lens? Where is the platform that explains the world from our perspective? Welcome to India's Axis, a new destination for geopolitics, strategy and power seen through India's eyes. From Neighborhood Watch to the biggest global stories that matter to you. Why tensions in the Taiwan Strait matter to India. How one move by China can affect India's security. What turmoil in Pakistan means for regional stability. How Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal, and Bhutan shape India's neighborhood. Why oil choke points can hit your wallet. How wars abroad can reshape India's security. This is not noise. This is not shouting. This is not recycled headlines. This is sharp, intelligent storytelling. Daily explainers, war room analysis, strategic conversations. Because news is everywhere, but perspective is rare. And in the age of confusion, clarity is power. Axis is for the audience that wants more than headlines. The axis of global power is shifting. India is at the center of that shift. It's time the world was explained accordingly. To understand the world through India's strategic lens. Subscribe now.